Geiger along with Neil Rudel. And Neil, there were a lot of Penn State fans, given the fact that the Lions beat Michigan a couple weeks ago, coming off of a bye. Ohio State hadn't really looked all that impressive. Came into this game thinking that Penn State could play Ohio State, maybe pull off an upset here. But boy, this just was anything but a memorable performance.
Yeah. I didn't know how many people really thought they could win. I don't know. I didn't for sure, and I didn't think it would get quite this out of hand this quickly. You could almost see the difference in the two teams from the game's opening drive. Penn State did have a nice drive of their own and got intercepted in the end zone. Had they been able to score there, maybe things, I don't think it was going to change the outcome, but I think maybe it would have given them some early confidence. I don't know. But obviously, just I think they have to really evaluate their whole defense.
Well, we knew Ohio State was going to be able to score points. It was going to depend on whether or not Penn State could move the ball and score some points. But yeah, nobody knew that Ohio State was going to put up that kind of number. 686 yards of total offense. That's the most ever allowed by Penn State. It's the most points Penn State's allowed since 1899.
Yeah.
I think this was the worst loss that they've ever had.
Yeah, I guess that's a separate discussion as far as what's the worst loss. I mean, were there any real expectations of winning here? You went against a great team.
You picked it by 11. Mine was 14. Yeah. I think most people thought they could hang with this team.
Yeah, but I guess. But I think when you look at what's the worst loss, it's probably a game where you have high expectations of them or the most disappointing. To me, this wasn't that, but for sure it was the most inept defensive performance they've ever had.
No doubt, and we'll break down parts of the game as time goes on, but you wrote a column in the Altoona Mirror for Sunday that I think is really a significant component that all Penn State fans need to understand, and this is coming from the perspective that I think Penn State's going to be good. They get the scholarships back. Bill O'Brien is certainly doing a very good job, but the bottom line is they've got a ton of things going right for them here.
Yeah.
They're in your division. If they're this much better than you this year, I mean, you're going to close the gap, but this is always going to be the formidable foe.
It is, and they have a veteran quarterback that excels in this offense. So, the thing is you're going to have a cyclical turnover eventually, but Urban Meyer is a champion. He's recruiting at a high level. And, you had four guys from Pennsylvania playing for Ohio State that really hurt Penn State today. The two Browns, Spence from Harrisburg, and the kid from Gateway Hall. So, what you saw here, and I tried to touch on this a little bit in what I wrote for the Mirror, is, you have a recruiting issue also. Yeah. And this is not really Bill O'Brien's problem. This is a problem that Bill O'Brien inherited, and coupled that with the scholarships. They just don't have enough good players.
And Hackenberg will get better. Hopefully the injury to his shoulder isn't all that bad. And we think that Penn State's going to be a good offensive program under Bill O'Brien. But the defensive aspect of the Penn State football program we've seen for decades, where are they from that standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, you get lit up by Indiana for 44 and Central Florida for 37. Michigan, I know there were 4 overtimes, but Michigan scored 34 in regulation, and now this. So I think there's a lot of cause for concern. Joe always said, and they're turning the lights out on us, that you're never as bad as you think you are when you lose, and you're never as good as you think you are when you win. But they were pretty bad on defense tonight. And then even when they kept the score to 28-7 or 28-0, they scored and they allowed a 50-yard kickoff return.
You know what? Illinois is next week. Penn State's going to crush Illinois, and everybody's going to be feeling a lot better. That's just the way football is.
A little better.
Right. But, again, as you point out in the column, this is the team you're going to have to beat at some point. They did it in 2005. They did it in 2008. The margin, the gap between these two programs right now is pretty significant.
Yeah. There were a couple things that happened during the game. Bill O'Brien said there were some things that they'll remember, maybe some motivational things they'll be able to use. The whip kick, calling timeout, late in the half to make a 2-minute or to make a 50-second drill to score there. But hey, that's the game you're playing. Here's Ohio State. They think they have to win on style points.
Yeah,
and they might.
They might have to with Alabama, Oregon, Florida State doing so well. Well, hey, like I said, crush Illinois next week, and people start to feel a little bit better about things, right?
Yeah, a little bit. And they'll have motivation because obviously they don't like Illinois. But, those are the games that they're going to need to win because, you want to make a living at least beating the teams you're supposed to and playing better on a day like today.
All right, for Neil Rudel, I'm Corey Geiger, Lee Carey in Columbus here on our video. Thanks for tuning in.